Peace, peace. This is the Hood Mystic representing www.hoodmystic.com. For all questions, inquiries, anything that you may need to talk to me about, I can be reached at hoodmystic@gmail.com. Without further ado, let's get into the build though. This evening, we'll be talking about Pomba Gira. We'll be explaining the energy of Pomba Gira, removing some of the false ideas and a whole bunch of narratives surrounding Pomba Gira and why you should want to deal with Pomba Gira and the power and what she can do for you. So to understand Pomba Gira, you first have to get a root to what system she comes out of. So, in South America, Brazil, there is a religion called Umbanda, which was started in the 1800s by a Portuguese man who was paralyzed at one point in time and healed himself, so he says, and became the end-all be-all of Umbanda religion. And Umbanda is more of a syncretized religion into the Roman Catholicism and the Jewish Kabbalah, associating the orishas and things of that nature with saints or with spots on the Sephiroth and things of that nature. Umbanda is more of a European type form of relationship. Quimbanda is what they say to be the opposite of Umbanda, which is all of the dark shit, all of the quote unquote evil shit, and all of the shit that niggas is afraid of. But we have to really take a step back and see as to why they would call some shit evil. My personal opinion is because the shit works. And so the only way to get niggas from dealing with it or working with it is to call it evil. So generally when you look up Kimbanda, you're gonna see all of this evil stuff, and you gotta cut chickens open and this, that, and the third. But ultimately I see it as a more truer, more ancient form of magic, as opposed to doing shit that the Europeans has been doing. And if you look at our people, whether they're in South America, Brazil, or Oakland, or Detroit, or Cleveland, they in the same position dealing with this syncretized religion. So ultimately, if we want to really get something popping, we're going to have to deal with the feminine energy, and we're going to have to deal with the Kimbanda instead of the Umbanda. So let's talk about Kimbanda a little bit further. Kimbanda usually practices with magic rituals, and it's set up in two sectors. You have the cult of Ishu, and then you have the cult of Pombagiras. And Ishus have a multitude of paths and spirits, and Pombagiras have a multitude of paths and spirits. You have to understand that, because if you don't understand that, they'll be talking about Pombagira as some prostitute on the street, and you'll be looking at it like, well, I'm kind of confused, because why should I be working with a prostitute on the street? But that is just something that they say about the energy to kind of throw you off the scent. But let's backtrack. Let's take a step back and let's look at this. We talking about South America. So we're talking about more of your history than if I was to be talking about Africa. So generally, you don't know your history. So when discussing Kimbanda or Umbanda, you're going to feel something. And if you listen to this, you're going to feel something, because I'm speaking to a part of you that's rarely spoken to. Understand that. So before Kimbanda, there was Macumba. And Macumba was more of a sacrificial type religion and things of that nature, where they really was cutting off heads and they really was about that blood work. But it evolved in Quimbanda, and where they had more of a thought and more of a ritual and more of a practice way of doing magic. And let's break this shit down. There was two groups of niggas in 1492 post-colonialism, there was two groups of black people. From South America to North America, there was two groups of black people. There was a group of black people that said, you know, we gonna make the best of this, we gonna pick this cotton, we gonna be the best slaves we gonna be, and whatever. And then it was a group of niggas that said, fuck this shit, I ain't for it, I ain't never gonna be for it. And so throughout the diaspora of America, you see these groups of black people who were not for that shit, and they was killing shit, and you know what I'm saying. So when it gets to now, they separate us, they give us a segmented history, they tell us that we were shipped here on boats and planes and trains from Africa. You understand? Yeah, we was sent here on trains from Africa, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? They give you whatever type of history they want to give you instead of the real history about how your shit really works. And your shit works on a masculine level and on a feminine level. Your feminine level is your power level. And Pomba Gira is just another word for saying feminine energy. So instead of thinking of it as some weird lady that's going to seduce you or whatever thought that you have, we're talking about a specific thing. But let's continue to backtrack. Let's continue to get this shit into our frame of thought so we can understand and work with Pomba Gira in a real way and really get some shit popping for us. So in the Quimbanda and the Umbanda, in both systems, there are these deities, which are called the Preto Velho or the Preto Velha. And to the right, we have Maria Congo, which represents the old Negroes or black olds, or Umbanda entities, spirits who present themselves in the fluidic body of old Africans who lived in the slave quarters. But then it goes on to say that these deities are purified from former African slaves. So let's rewind, because you can't be two things. You can't be a slave and you can't be purified from being a slave. So ultimately, when you talk about these black old ones, when you talk about these old Negroes, no, your ancestors will not come to you as slaves. And if you view them as slaves, that's shame on you. That's your perception of them that was programmed to you based on how they present themselves. So ultimately, when we talking about the ancestors and things of this nature, and old people coming and visited you in your dreams, and old African ladies come and visit to your dreams, you don't know what that is. So you just say, this is my ancestors or this is my grandmother. No, these represent the masters of wisdom and humility, and really here to tell you things about your history, which you may be disconnected from. And these vibrations represent unconditional love on a level that's beyond family and lineages and things that you actually know. This is a deep, deep level of cognizance and realization of your history. And I'm speaking from it. You understand what I'm saying? I'm speaking as a witness that these ancestors and these deities, they're not here to let you know that you was a slave. They're here to free you from that shit. So ultimately, this is what we need to get into. We need to get into the deities that was already here, that already know who you are, that's willing to help you. So understanding this shit real quick. The cult of Ishu and Pomba Gira is often named as Quimbanda and referred to as the dark side of Umbanda. So understand that Ishu and Pomba Gira is Quimbanda. They are the dark side. In the dark side, let's understand what the dark side is. The dark side is not the evil side. It is not the negative side. It is not the bad side. It's just the dark side. So generally, what came first, the light or the dark? Obviously, the dark came before. You would have to need light if you was in the dark. And so that darkness created the light. So understand that this is the source of your energy. So when they say Ishu and Pomba Gira are the dark side of Umbanda, that means they are the source of Umbanda. And Umbanda is representing the source of spirituality, American melanated spirituality. Understand this. Understand that this can help you. Umbanda saw the break of day in the beginning of the last century in this Catholicized form of the Orisha cults. Often blended with spiritism and mass position, it is a kind of charismatic Orisha cult. The temples are called terrarios, and ultimately, it's just like church. Umbanda is church. Quimbanda is you working with your masculine and feminine energy and getting some shit popping. Realize the difference. Now, we don't have to be in this shit talking about we gotta save black people and try to reach people if you're not all the way connected yourself. And that's really the key. Work with this shit in your own right. Because that's what Kimbanda represents. It represents the individual. Pomba Gira represents the individual trying to help you. How is helping a whole bunch of black people going to necessarily help you? It won't. It's important that you help yourself and to deal with your dark energy. Dark is not negative. Dark is not bad. Dark is just the original, primitive, primal, esoteric, magic, and sorcery that is within you. And we doing all of this background because I feel like this background is important for when we finally start to talk about Miss Pomba Gira. Because who is Miss Pomba Gira? What does she represent? So when I start breaking down what she represents, I want you to fully understand that she is the great witch. She is the representation of the power hidden within all women. See, this video ain't about me. This video is about to any woman who feels as though she's less than or in a vulnerable position. Because ultimately, it's your own doing because you're not tapping into your own power. There's no way that you can tell me that you're tapping into your power and you're suffering. You are so magical and the ability is within you to create any life that you want to lead. So any suffering or any type of thing that you may be dealing with is a representation of you not dealing with your power. And you may not know about your power because nobody taught you about your power. I'm probably the only nigga on YouTube using the words Kimbanda and Umbanda. Probably. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that this is information that's available that people just don't want to talk about. They want to talk about problems. But here at hoodmystic.com, here on this YouTube page, we constantly talk about solutions. And Pomba Gira is a solution. Why is she a solution? Because she is the mistress of transformation with witchcraft, love, healing, and divination, among many, many others. There is no limit to the energy that Pomba Gira can access to you because we're not talking about a prostitute on the street. We're talking about your feminine energy. Let's continue. She is a warrior that loves to spill blood of her enemies. So I don't want to hear about nothing about somebody got it out against you and all of that. Well, tap into your damn power then, ma'am. Them bitches will be eating dust. Excuse my language. You single? You can't find a man? Well, Pomba Gira is known to have 7 husbands. So what's your excuse? You not tapping into your power, man. It's not my fault. And this, like I said, this video is not about me. This video is not even about men. I'm just the messenger. Please believe it. She can also be associated with marginal female behavior such as prostitution, drinking, sexual freedom, rejection of male control, and lewd behavior. So let's talk about this prostitution right quick, and let's talk about sex real quick. Because generally, you don't have sex, but when you can have sex, but somehow you better than a prostitute who has sex whenever she wants to. Generally, you all rigid and no fun in the bedroom, but somehow you can't understand why your husband don't come home till 5 o'clock in the morning. And so you want to use your masculine energy to be mad and argue and fight, right? But you don't want to use your feminine power to have that nigga crawling on his knees begging for forgiveness for ever stepping outside of the bedroom. What, you think you can't do it? That's not my problem. I know you can do it. I know you can do whatever you want to do because you was born on earth. And I'm not even pumping women up. I'm just speaking the facts. I don't give a shit. I really don't care. I'm not a woman, but I recognize the power of a woman. And I respect it and whatever you ever need me to do. So Pomba Gira, her nature can be very kind or stern. She could be the sweetest girl in the world. She could be the meanest woman on the face of the planet. You can't pin her down. What are we talking about? We're talking about feminine energy. She can be totally enchanting and remove terrifying and can be terrifying at the same time. Pomba Gira is the best of allies and the worst of enemies. How come the same girl I could be committing a robbery with be throwing my clothes out the goddamn window? Burning my shit, ripping my shit. But not 2 weeks ago, we was robbing a bank together. Best of allies, worst of enemies. What am I talking about when I'm talking about Pomba Gira? I hope y'all can get a clear vision of what feminine energy is so you can't be no weak-ass, punk-ass motherfucker out here. Excuse my language. I don't, like, I know the sob stories. I've heard them all. But I got the solution for you if you want to hear it. She represents the lower soul. Not the lower soul in the aspect of lower is bad, but lower as representing personal, human, individual. Like, I want to grasp on that soul. The higher soul be talking about, you know, some old abstract shit that I don't even know what the fuck. What you mean, higher soul? Geometric shapes and shit and all types of weird ass visions. Okay. The lower soul might be like, you might need a couple dollars to make it through till you get paid on Friday. So if Pomba Gira represents the lower soul, that's probably the soul that you might want to deal with, because it'll be the soul that makes more sense. Whether it's the lower soul or the higher soul, my nigga, it is still the soul. And the soul is all the power. So Pomba Gira represents the quintessential free woman. The ultimate in freedom. She represents freedom from oppression and slavery in her own way. So if you're going through a difficult situation, I don't feel sorry for you. Why not? Because you got energy and power within you that can kind of shift and switch this whole shit around. You haven't been taught about it. You don't know shit about it. But holler at me. We'll get you together. What is Pomba Gira though? What is she? Let's keep talking about her, because she's so... I mean, shit. I could literally talk about her for about a couple hours, but I said I just need to get a little short video out, just to touch on it. But I'll be back on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to talk about it more, but just to kind of give you a introductory to energy and power. It ain't the first time that I've talked about her either, but generally this is the first time I kind of just went in and kind of made it specific about Pomba Gira in the background and the source to the shit. You feel me? So, what did she represent? She is a liminal deity. What is a liminal deity? A liminal deity is a god or goddess in mythology who presides over thresholds, gates, or doorways. Is she standing in front of my doorway right now? No. Is she there opening the gate for when I gotta clock in tomorrow? No. Is she there when me and my kids is playing tug of war over the PS4 remote? No. So, what are you talking about? Thresholds, gates, and doorways, Hood Mystic? It makes no sense. Thresholds just represent points and times where your life where you just can't take the shit no more. Gates represent times where you just kind of walking through a different pathway in life. Doorways just represent opportunities. So a liminal deity is the person that's going to get you from point A to point B. If you on this side of the river and you want to get to the other side of the river and it ain't no bridge there, then you got to start summoning motherfucking Pomba Gira to get to that other side of the bridge. She is the pathway. Feminine energy. Her power rests in the liminal tied to the fires that speak in the night, sometimes called the Ishu women. She is, in reality, no one's woman. Get that shit out your head. When you read about this, you're going to hear about her being the female Ishu and being the counterpart to Ishu and all of that shit. Hey, that's to say that feminine energy and masculine energy is equal. When it's not. Do I have to break that down? Well, your masculine energy is your left side of the brain, and that controls all of your physical movements. Your right side of your brain is your feminine brain, and your feminine brain controls your heartbeat, your breathing, your blood flow, your organ movement. So, you can see like Stephen Hawking, he ain't have no masculine energy whatsoever. That nigga lived to 105 and still was smart as shit. That's just feminine energy. Because the mind, that's feminine energy. The mind. Think, like, use that shit. She represents a free woman whose powerful sexuality is both a seductive lure to men and a threat to patriarchal society which seeks to label her. So, you could be oppressed and be subject to masculine energy, or you can be like, hold on, wait a second, I got this feminine energy that I can access and I can accomplish all things. Let me work with that. Or I can just sit here and cry all goddamn day that I'm a goddamn slave. Either or. So in the tarot deck, if we want to look at Pomba Gira, we want to look at the Queen of Wands to get a real aspect of her energy. In the Thoth deck, it's a picture of her, a picture of a lady sitting on the throne, and she got her hand on the cat's or the lion or tiger or bear Omai's head, as in to say that she controls the goddamn tiger with her hand. And that's just your animal instinct. And so once you deal with your feminine energy and you invigorate it and you build it and you grow it, feminine energy is also sexual energy. That's what they call it, okay? So put two and two together. You out here rigid, ain't fucking, trying to get some shit to happen. You know what I'm saying? So say for instance you get $2 million and you still don't get no good sex. Imagine how that's gonna make you feel. You imagine the payoff is good sex no matter how, wherever you turn into. Whatever you doing. If you want to be a goddamn engineer and you working in school and you doing all of these classes, hopefully you want to get a good ass job and get a banging ass wife so you can make some good ass love every night. Hopefully. So generally when you think about sex as just coitus or just, bumping uglies, then you don't understand the energy and you don't understand sexual energy, and you don't have no value to it. You don't have no integrity to it. You just giving it away like, you know what I'm saying, food for the homeless or some shit. Okay. Your whole energy and your whole power, you just giving it away to a nigga that's cute. But you ain't cultivating it, you ain't building it, you ain't purifying it. You know what I'm saying? You should be sitting on hot coals right now, just warming that thing up for tomorrow. Should be sleeping with a heated blanket in the summertime, just warming that thing up, because shit, that's your power, that's your energy. The Queen of Wands deals with generosity, passion, and domination. You ever had like a good good. I don't even know what to call them. Let's just call them a hood rat, but a cool one though. Them is the people that you want to hang around with because they know where all the good drugs is at. You know you in good company. You know you safe. You know you gonna have fun. Now, if you a scary person, then you kind of like, well, I don't know, and I don't know about Shaniqua going over the projects to hang out with her, but shit, at a certain point, you was there. We all was in the projects turning up with Shaniqua and them because they knew how to have a good time, and they had everything on lock. They knew who was who. You know what I'm saying? So generally, you could put your life into a hood rat, and you never know how that shit could turn. A lot of people is dead right now because of hood rats, but you know what I'm saying. But that's neither here nor there. So let's continue to take a step back and really like this prostitute thing or this whore thing was speaking in Pomba Gira, and you got to see what they really trying to do to your feminine energy. Cause if you can walk outside and a dude be like, shit, I'll give you some money right now just to spend some time with you. That's power. Because when my black ass go to oh shit. When my black ass go outside, don't nobody give me shit. And I ain't ugly either. I'm just saying, man. I'm not even hating on women and y'all ability at all. I know that if y'all get y'all shit together, y'all can walk outside and make some shit happen. And it ain't about being physically attractive or none of that shit. It's about dealing with your energy, dealing with your power. If you deal with your energy or deal with your power, you don't never gotta do your hair. You ain't never gotta put on makeup. You ain't never even gotta do shit. You can sit in the goddamn bed and masturbate all day with intention, and motherfuckers will be bringing you, what's that shit called? Where they bring the chocolates to you or the flowers? Not room service. With the dipped strawberries. edible masturbating for edible arrangements. If you think it ain't being done, hell no. It's girls paying rent, laying on their bed masturbating in front of a camera that they bought for $6.99 or some shit. Paying rent, ain't doing shit but sitting in front of the camera playing with herself. Now, if you took a step back, that shit retarded as shit. Like what? Like why would I even want to watch somebody masturbating? Why would I even give money to somebody who's just simply masturbating in front of me? If we thought with our logical minds, we'd be like, well, I'd rather not. Like, I'd rather do something productive. I'd rather have fun. But shit, the motherfucking, that shit is a booming ass business. So that must mean something else is going on in the minds of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could say that it's illogical or don't make no sense, but shit, I was at Family Dollar just today, ready to like, what the hell? Like, I don't know. Let's be them leggings. I don't know what the hell. And then I had to think like, well, I don't know this lady. I'm just looking at her ass. Like, and it had my mind in a whole different frame of thought. I'm thinking about, I need some soap, some dish detergent. I seen that ass. I forgot everything that was going on. I forgot I was even in Family Dollar. So that's power. And she probably didn't even have no ass for real. That was probably an illusion. She was probably doing spell work. You just never know. It could have been. Y'all be doing all types of sorcery nowadays. So ultimately, if you look at sex as something evil or something bad, it don't necessarily matter what deity you deal with or whatever, because generally, once you get $1 million, your mind is corrupt. not the sex. You gotta understand that. The person that you are with is not corrupt. Your mind is corrupt if you view them as corrupt. So you gotta generally deal with your energy and build your energy. What can you do with Pomba Gira? First, I said she was a goddess of the thresholds, and she has no limit. So her magic is capable of anything. But she really likes that eros energy and that love energy and that sex energy, because at the end of the day, what is your ass gonna wish you gonna be doing? You mean to tell me just simply going to Aruba on a seven, on, let's just say a 30-day vacation to Aruba, and you ain't getting no ass? I mean, in your prudish ass mind, you probably be thinking, well, yeah, I'm just going to see the sights. You gonna be on the same goddamn resort. By day 3, the shit gonna be looking the same, and you gonna be wanting some action. I say that to say that energy is in everybody. Hold on. How come sex is always on the goddamn mind of everybody, but don't nobody ever want to talk about it? We always want to talk about Black Panther, when black people gonna get reparations and all of that shit. All of that shit would be justified if your ass would just get you some good ass sex and be like, okay, I could deal with this for a while. And once you get some good ass sex, everything tends to work itself out. And I'm not talking about bad sex. I'm not talking about rush sex or not natural sex or weird ass sex or booty call sex. I'm talking about wholesome, healthy sex with a couple of people or one person, however you do your shit, but everybody know what's going on. That's magic. That's when shit start to, them orgasms start popping off, them synapses start popping, and you start getting them visions from other worlds and shit. Start bringing them shits down into reality. You know, shit starts to happen once you start to have real sex. That's why it ain't evil. That's why it ain't bad. And maybe dealing with Pomba Gira, you want $1 million and you don't want to have sex. Okay. You're just going to be a mean ass millionaire with no sex. So ultimately, she don't play with the fake shit. So if you're not serious and you're not down to, if you're not wanting to change in your life, if you're not oppressed and you're not really trying to deal with it, because like I said at the beginning, Umbanda is for the niggas that's happy being slaves. It's real pretty, beautiful rituals, all the aesthetics you need for spirituality, you know, to feel good about talking to spirits and dancing and drumming. All the church shit you need in African variation. Do that Umbanda. But if you want to deal with some Quimbanda shit, then you're going to have to separate yourself from the rest and do whatever you need to do. This is the threshold. This is the crossroads. Like, if you cool with life, then keep doing the Umbanda shit and kumbaya and, you know, shake hands with white folks and go to work every day and, you know, everything peace. But if you want to be a runaway slave and fight oppression, you might want to deal with this Pomba Gira energy, man. And so, like I said, this is just a part 1. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. This video was done by request, by the way. So if there's any type of topics or information that you don't hear people talking about, and you might want to hear somebody do some research or get another opinion, you know, holler at me. Just like this young lady did, wanted some more information on Pomba Gira, and I was happy to provide. And I hope this helped you with any questions that you may have and give you direction on how you can do some research on Pomba Gira. Gave you a lot of shit that you can look up and kind of figure out on your own. So, you know, if you want to donate to my channel, please feel free to paypal.me/thehoodmystic. If you want to talk about readings, counseling, how to build up your energy, make sure you hit me up at hoodmystic@gmail.com. And that concludes my video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope y'all have a wonderful evening. Peace.